Yeah, mate, we got hards on. We're going to the end.
Formula One. Monza. I think last week I said, was it Monza? I think last week I said um, this track was a track that it wasn't. I think I said this was the one where Gasly was holding up Hamilton last time, and Rosberg. No, what's his name? Yeah, Nico Rosberg was getting hard on because he was like, Hamilton just can't get ahead of him. Nico's kind of loving it. Even though now he's been like a whole flip side for Rosberg, he's been actually a whole lot kinder to Hamilton. I've noticed in recent sort of punditries. Don't know if they've sort of like shook hands or at some point in because they live in the same building now or something in Monaco. But this was a race that was so boring. I'm sorry it was. Crofty can't convince me otherwise. It's hards on. We've got the hards on because we're going all the way to the end, and today we're talking about the Monza Grand Prix. A boring one. And like I said, as much as Crofty wants to sit there on comms and go, commentary, and go, this has been a great Spanish Grand Prix, hasn't it? It's been really great. Are you trying to convince yourself, Crofty? Because no, it hasn't. It's been boring. It was basically qualifying order from beginning to end. And like, I get the only excitement there was Ferrari cars trying to defend. That's what it was for the whole race. Just cars. And you know how boring it is? Like, that's not excitement to me. Excitement isn't watching cars defend against cars that are clearly quicker, but staying ahead for long periods of time because the track is crap. I'm not saying Monza's crap. We've had some great races at Monza, but what I am saying is it was crap today at least, because that's not exciting to me. Carlos Sainz defending Verstappen, yeah, I was enjoying it for a few laps it was happening, just because I had a glimmer of 1% thinking, he can do this for 60 laps or however many there were, right? And then seeing Verstappen overtake him, and then within a lap being like 4 seconds ahead, that just shows you like the track is just, if it's that easy to defend someone that much quicker than you, well, not easy, but you know, you can do it for that long. Albon keeping everyone behind him. I know Albon's got a good car compared to the people behind him at that point, but it's just like, today it just kind of felt like a mid track where even cars a little bit slower could defend for long periods of time because of the track it was, and the cars these are. And it was just boring. It was just cars defending really down the straight into the chicane. Qualifying was, I mean, you know, it was. I'm sorry, I ain't got the positives, but you know, qualifying was just mid. When you get to Q3, and 2 Red Bulls are there, 2 Mercedes are there, 2 McLarens are there. What else is the top car? You know, you had an Aston Martin, a Williams. 2 Ferraris are there. You know, 2 Ferraris, 2 Mercedes, 2 McLarens, 2 Red Bulls, and then a couple other teams. An Aston Martin and a Williams. God, that is boring. That is boring. That's how it should be. That's on paper how it should be everything. The 2 McLarens should be there. The Red Bulls, the Mercedes, and the Ferraris. You know, and then 2 other teams. 2 other drivers. Like, God, man. Obviously, Sainz did take pole, to be fair, so he did outdo Verstappen, but Leclerc seemed to be kind of just not as quick as Sainz the whole weekend. So you kind of want to see both Ferraris ahead. I mean, Sergio, I think, qualified like P5. Let me get up the Monza qualifying so I can be accurate with all of these. But Perez, again, I mean, he didn't qualify top 3, did he? So again, not quite doing what I was hoping he would do in qualifying. To be fair though, I slag him off every week, and this week I'm actually going to be fair to him, because he is actually going to get a decent rating, a decent award this time around, because, you know, he did a good job. He qualified not as high up as I thought he should have, but it was just about enough. And you know what, to be fair, he came P2, right, and he did a decent job getting through twice, and he didn't really make any mistakes. And, you know, you can't let your genders be that strong. Why is it not just showing me qualifying? God's sake. They love being difficult, don't they? No, do you want to just show it me? And do you want to not tell it me in paragraphs that I have to read? Here we go. Yeah, Perez was P5. Just about ahead of Williams of Alex Albon. If Hamilton should be up there doing better, pushing him down in P6. But I would say P5 is the threshold at least. He gets P5 and he finishes P2 behind Verstappen, he was only 2 places behind Verstappen because Verstappen wasn't even on pole. So Verstappen P2 finishes P1, Perez P5 finishes P2. You got to give him his credit this week. Fair enough, fine. Because it wasn't like he was just kind of come through against easier, slower cars. They were slower cars, but it was a Mercedes and a Ferrari, So, well, a Mercedes, a Ferrari, and a Ferrari. So you can't really. There's so much cat hair on this. It's literally making. I don't think I have a allergy, but anyone's gonna itch when they have cat hair or any hairs on their eyes and their nose. But yeah. So qualifying, rate my quali. I mean, Verstappen wasn't on pole, so that at least gets it above a 5. But the Q3 was very predictable. I'm gonna give it like a 6. I'm sorry, I can't do higher than that. In terms of the race rundown, what do you want me to run down for you? It starts. Sainz is just defending Verstappen for about 14 laps. By lap 17, Verstappen is 4 seconds ahead after being ahead for about 2 laps. What the fuck? Then it turns into, okay, we're no longer defending against Verstappen because he's won. Second he overtakes. This is what's so dead. Like last season, it was a little bit more back and forth between trading places, at least for first. The second he gets ahead, and they say it in the commentary, he's won it. It's over. Bar mechanical failure or human error, or pit stop failure or something like that. Like he's won the race. He might as well just stop there and sit out. Because there's no point. It just turns into, okay, he's gone. Now we're battling for third all of a sudden, really, or first / second. Now we're just battling for these podium scraps because it's now just all about keeping Perez behind. The slower Red Bull, but the Red Bull nonetheless. Try and keep him behind for as long as we can, and obviously inevitably it gets past. Pit before him, get out ahead of him. Same again, just defend against him, and then slightly further down the pack, you have the exact same thing going on with Albon. Just sort of, thou shall not pass with any car behind him. And that was kind of just the race there. You had like a couple taps here, nothing that went off track, no safety cars, nothing to spice up, no fun, no red flags, something like that. Because previously we've had great races here, I feel like it's been due to having red flags and stuff. I think that's how Gasly got the win. I think that was a red flag when Ricciardo got the win. Yeah, like there's a little tap. Usually into the chicane. You had the one with Hamilton and Piastri. Nothing that really did anything. You had a bit of like that. That's what got me the most hyped the whole weekend. I'm actually going to give the if we go into the awards section now. That's how quick the rundown's going to be. I'm sorry, I did not enjoy the Monza Grand Prix. But the hard award, I'm only just decided this now, because we've got the soft, medium, hard awards. And these can be given from moments, from performances, from weekend performances to race performances, to something that happened in quality to a radio. It can be anything that's kind of got me up. And not down there, no. And that was Sainz. The thing that got me up was not Sainz getting pole, but Sainz defending Verstappen and actually not just giving it out. Instead, giving it over and saying, you know what, I know I'm going to lose this, but you're not just going to take it from me easy. And he kind of had this kind of whole, like, for me, Carlos Sainz is great fighting for something. I love him when he's fighting for something, when he's like, okay, Sainz, take it easy now. I want this win, Tom. I want this win, when he's like kind of just going at it, like trying to, defending against Verstappen in this scenario, kind of pushes Verstappen wide or doesn't push him wide, wherever it was. But I was hoping to see that Red Bull spin or get some damage. Wasn't to be. But, I loved that. That kind of had me excited. Like, well, we're not just going to let him go. We are going to swerve. We are going to have it on the line. They're racing on the line here. That's on the line of racing. And then when the commentators come on like, oh, that might be a little bit too far. Sainz might be going a little bit over the line here because that's not fair. Let Perez through there. Come on now. You're going a little bit far with it. No, he's not. Just bloody run him off track if you have to. This is what I like to see, pushing people on the grass, stuff like that. Getting your elbows out. And it was good. The only parts of Sainz that I'm not that I don't like is when he no longer feels like he is in the ascendancy. When he feels like he's got the knowledge, he's like, it's going to rain, shut up, Ferrari mechanics, you're stupid. I'm going to overtake you and get nowhere. I want this win, Tom. That's great. When he doesn't feel that way, like when he's getting pressured by Perez, and it's like, he's intimidating me. And it's like, what does that... Oh, okay. Today, when he's like, he wants to fight Leclerc and go back and forth. But the second he's ahead of Leclerc, it's, come on, guys, come on. Okay. Let's bring... He's breathing heavy like a dog as well. Like he's been fighting for his life. He's like, come on, guys. Let's just secure this. Let's just secure P2 and P4 for the team. For the team. Okay, yeah, for the team, Carlos. Yeah, that's why you want to just keep it as it is now. That's when I'm like, oh, shut up. I wanted... Like, after you said that, I wanted to look at Leclerc to get P3. But to be fair, Sainz had him this weekend, and I'm giving him the hard award. And I'm actually going to give the medium to Perez, because I've got to be fair to him. I don't particularly like him. Maybe he deserves technically the hard over Sainz, but he did what he had to do. P5 could have been a bit better, to be honest, but it's good enough. Gets to P2. He's overtaken other decent cars. Cars that are defending quite hard, so he had to put in a lot more effort. Now he got around them. It wasn't anything that got me aroused, but he did a good job, and I got to give him the credit for that. And the softie, Hamilton obviously sets himself back in qualifying, but he comes back decently enough to finish just behind George. But then, he gets the 5-second penalty for crashing into Piastri, which he said was his fault, and he admitted to that. But then he gets the 5-second gap anyway, so it doesn't really mean anything. So he did make mistakes, that little bit of damage there, the qualifying, but he made up for most of them. What was Stroll doing this whole weekend? He was just off it. Didn't he qualify like P20? I didn't see him in the race once. You could argue I should have given the hard award as well, not to Sainz, but to Albon for getting P7 again in the Williams. But that Williams seems to be fairly quick now at this point. It's rapid in a straight line, they keep saying. And ultimately, I'm kind of bored of giving Albon credit for basically sticking at P7, P8, P9 and just defending the whole race. Sorry, it's not what gets me going. Soft is tricky. Is it harsh to give Leclerc soft? Just because I expect more from him, and I kind of just don't know. He just never really seemed to have the pace that Sainz had qualifying or race. I'm just going to give it Leclerc because Leclerc's meant to be that boy, and he wasn't that boy. And he maybe had damage, or he had, not damage, but just something. No, I just think he just didn't have it. He just didn't have it. Sainz had it. He didn't have it this weekend. And he's meant to be the boy, the Ferrari boy. And he's meant to, he's the better driver. And, he set the purple first section, and he didn't bring it home. He didn't get pole. Sainz took pole. He didn't. He got out qualified by Verstappen in the race. It was kind of always Sainz. He overtakes him and then he locks up. It's like, that was yours. You could have kept that. You could have took that through the end. You lost your podium with a crazy lockup. It seemed unnecessary as well. So I'm actually going to give it Leclerc. I'm giving soft award to a driver who finished P4. But I expect more, man. It's all relative. Yeah, I think I was gonna say last week's was like 2 days ago because I did it so late. Was a lot longer, but hey, Zandvoort, surprise, would have shot me if you told me this beforehand. Was a lot more exciting for me, with the rain and this and that and the strap and that, than Monza. I ain't got much to say about Monza, so it is what it is, man. I don't know what race is next. I think it's Singapore. Apparently Daniel Ricciardo probably still won't be back for that one, so it's gonna be more Liam Lawson. That's a storyline I'm missing. I needed that in my life. That extra storyline to spice up this season that's been stale, and then they take it away from you. But it is what it is, man. I've already done that thing. I don't want to do it again. But yeah, Singapore. I don't think I've ever seen a race at Singapore yet, so I look forward to it. And I'll see you then. I think we've got a week break now, which isn't great because the only kind of sporting entertainment I have now is international football. But you got to make do with what you got. It is what it is. Okay, that's a hat trick. But yeah, hards on, because we've got the hards on. We're going to the end. Brum brum. Thanks. See you in Singapore. Well, I'm not in Singapore, but you get it.